What's up YouTube? It's Tony Swedberg, and today I'm going to show you how to get out of negative equity. So if you're upside down in your car or your customer's upside down in their car, $8, $9, $10, $11,000. In this situation, I got my customer from being $11,000 upside down into a car, lowered her payment with no money down. So how to get out of negative equity, here we go. So I had a lady come in and she had a draft. Her draft was for $30,000, so quite a bit of money. She had 125% loan to value. That's called LTV, loan to value. If you guys don't know what loan to value is, that's how much the bank values the car and then how much out the door you're at. We'll use easy numbers. Let's say the bank says the car's worth 10 grand, 100% loan to value means out the door they have to be at 10 grand. Okay, in this case we have 125%. So if the bank says the car's worth 10 grand, 125% of 10 grand, if you just take 10 grand in your calculator times by 125, you're gonna come out with $12,500. So if you do a $20,000 car, you have to be out the door at $25,000. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So that's LTV, loan to value, with a 9% interest rate. Okay, so it's a pretty good draft, you know, $30,000, good loan to value, and a pretty decent interest rate. Okay, now this is when things get a little bit tricky. Now we're getting into the trade. She drove a BMW, like an older one, 2006, 7, 8, around that, and obviously totally out of warranty. It's starting to come up with a lot of issues, and BMW is one of the most expensive vehicles to maintain. The maintenance is very expensive. If you need brakes, if something happens to the suspension, on and on and on, it could be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a repair. So before any of that happens, obviously she wants to get out of her vehicle. Her ACV. What does ACV stand for? If you're a car salesman, you should know this. If you're a customer, you should know this. This is called actual car value. So ACV, actual car value. That's what your car's really worth, not what the dealership's showing you. Sometimes they show you the ACV, what it's really worth. Sometimes, you know, they'll take their discounts and rebates and put on your car and show you a little bit more money for your car. But the ACV on her car was $5,000, okay? The payoff on the car was about $16,000. Okay, so we take that $5,000, we put it towards the $16,000, we have $11,000 of negative equity. So we will be rolling over $11,000 into whatever car we go into. So guys, let's take in mind $11,000. Let's minus that from the $30,000 draft. That's $19,000. Now let's minus, you know, the $899 dealership fee, okay? So now we're down closer to $18,000. Plus your taxes, which are around, let's say, $2,000. So now we're down to a vehicle that's $16,000. So I have to find her a new car that's gonna have tons of discounts and rebates, and we have to be able to sell it for $16,000. So I need a car that is valued at $25,000, $26,000. We can discount it down like crazy, down to 16, add in the negative equity, add in the taxes, add in the dealership fee, and out the door we're at $30,000. But they have to value it at 25, 26. That way it's 125% advance. Because guys, with somebody who has decent credit, maybe around 600, they're gonna get 100% advance. Someone 650, maybe they could get 125 if they get a really good approval through a bank. But usually 125% advance is for somebody with a 700 credit score. But even if you're not a 700 credit score like this person, sometimes there's a bank out there that's going to give you that advance so you can carry over that negative equity. In this situation, they had a very good relationship with a certain bank, and that's why they got such a good approval for their credit score. So it's smart to have a good relationship with a bank and always go through them, because when you need them the most, sometimes they can help you out. Okay, now the fun part. Picking the new car. So the first car she wanted to see was a little bit of a sports car. Obviously she's coming from a BMW. She's been driving luxury her whole life, and she wanted a sports car. So I talked to my manager, asked him if this car would fit. He said, go show her the car. There's tons of discounts and rebates. We were $8,000 too much. So that car didn't work. He plugged in several cars. He said, we have nothing for her. Every single vehicle is going to be too expensive out the door, and anything cheaper won't be able to carry that $11,000, because $11,000 rolling into maybe 10,000, you know, you're at a 200% advance. Rolling into 40, you're at 125% advance. 125% advance of 40,000 is 50,000. So banks go by MSRP, which is a great thing. This is why we pick new cars to cover up that negative equity. So after trying every single car in the lot, what I did is I went on the internet, I clicked on my new cars, I went to filter, and I put price low to high. So I saw the cheapest new car I had all the way to the most expensive. So going through the cheapest, I found a vehicle that was $25,000 and had all the discounts and rebates. Just because it's $25,000, if it doesn't have the discounts and rebates, then the advance is gonna be too much. And if the advance goes over 125%, you have to cover that up with cash. So if she wants to put zero down, then obviously you have to have the discounts and rebates there. So I have the exact deal right here, and I found a car that was $25,000. Okay, the rebates on the car were $6,000. Okay, and the discounts on the car were $4,000. What I did is I found an old age unit. The older a new car gets, the cheaper we have to sell it. So this vehicle was here 125 days. So the rebates, that has nothing to do with how long the vehicle's been there. That comes from the manufacturer. In this case, the manufacturer had tons of rebates on that vehicle. Now the discounts come from the dealership. The older the vehicle gets, the more we have to discount the vehicle. It can be a difference of $4,000 just from it being a newer vehicle that we just got to a vehicle that's been over 100 days or 90 days. It can be a $4,000 difference or $4,000 savings for you if you go with a vehicle that's been there a long time. And as a car salesman, obviously I take advantage of this. It's a better deal for my customer and easier sale for me. Long story short, guys, just so you can see it, we started off at 25,000. We discounted, the rebates were 6,000, 4,000 in discounts. Now this is roughly, we're down to about 15,000 and some change, I remember. We added the 11,000 back on, which brings us up to 26, plus your $8.99 dealership fee, plus the $100 to transfer your tag, that's 27. Then your taxes roughly are 2,000 bucks, that's 29,000 out the door. I remember we were 30,000 out the door. There's obviously a couple things in there. Maybe the MSRP was different, 500 bucks or so, but you guys get the point. The bank valued this car at 24,000. We were out the door at 30,000. So 24,000, 125% of that is 30,000. It was the perfect car. I got her out of her car. I got her out of her negative equity. Her payment at 9%, financing $30,000, I believe was like $542 it came out to be. So her payment dropped about 38 bucks. She went from an old BMW with $400 a month insurance down to a vehicle with $150 to $200 insurance. She got into a car that's 10 years newer, covered in warranty. She also lowered her insurance, her payment, and her interest rate. And we ate up a lot of negative equity with the discounts and rebates. And if she takes the new car and sees how much it's worth compared to what her payoff is, she's gonna realize that she's not even close to the situation she's in. We ate up a whole lot of negative equity, and I earned a customer for life. Right after her credit score gets closer to 700, I'll be taking her out of that car. Any negative equity that's left over, we're gonna roll it into a lease. After we roll it into a lease, take in mind she wants a car for $30,000. A good lease payment on a car is about 1% of the MSRP of the car. So if it's a $30,000 car, 1% of that is $300 a month with no money down. So even after rolling in, you know, a few thousand, even up to $5,000 of negative equity, she's still gonna lower her payment on a lease. She's gonna be driving the car she wants. At the end of the lease, she's gonna drop her car off and have no negative equity. Some of the benefits of a lease is every lease comes with GAP, and at the end of your lease, you drop your car off and you have no negative equity. It doesn't matter how much you owe, how much it's worth, it's a lease. So once you drop it off, you're out. You go look for a car, you can put zero down, you can go into another lease, you can buy your car. People lease to buy all the time. You're still paying off your car when you're leasing. You just lease half of it and then you finance the other half. There's tons of benefits for leasing. If you guys want to see a video on that, make sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Thank you guys for watching.